Oh, 1 second.
Sorry, give me a countdown.
Okay, we'll do. Okay. Hi, Peter. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you,
Awesome.
Hassan?
I am great, man. Today is the day. Today is Friday, and every Friday we create content based on DevOps, based on IT, and marketing. So today we have Peter here coming back and telling us more about what he does, and he has a topic that he wants to share that could help a lot of people out there, I think. And I think I want you to introduce yourself, Peter, again, please.
Yeah, hi. My name's Peter Jopes from Jopes IT Consulting. Thanks for watching my channel. Great to see you. Try to bring you some information. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the button down below. And this is something that we get quite often. I wanted to talk about like how to spot a phishing email and how to spot something not to and tell people, your employees, not to reply to them.
Awesome. Well,
Um,
I mean, I'm so glad that you're getting this because I get these emails every single day.
Yeah, and you would think, I mean, from our perspective, you think like, well, this is so obvious, like you would never do this one. Um, but this is a real example of an email that came in, um, and it kind of reads out. It came from to the executive director of a company, and the email came from one of her employees, and it reads, "I need to send out iTunes gift cards right now to some charity organization. I'd like you to go to the store now. Let me know when you made it to the store. You are to purchase 5 times iTunes cards with $100 on each value. Please help me scratch the back off of the card and reveal the code. Take a snapshot of the code and send it to me here. I'll reimburse you.
That's funny.
Thanks." The Jane Doe is the employee, and so this is sent to the executive director.
Wow.
And um, you know, for one thing, the company thought their system, like they thought their systems had been hacked. Like they thought their email system had been hacked because it came from somebody in the company and it was sent to the executive director.
Huh. And wow. Okay. So this is basically based on an organization. They hacked the email, like everyone's email, and this is what they
Yeah,
use, basically.
this is a technique that they use, and they don't. It involves no hacking whatsoever. They didn't take over the email domain. Most likely, what they did is they went to the website where it had all the employees and the executive director's name, and they used that. They did a little bit of research on them, and they started to make up email addresses that went along with it. And if you look in this email, the name of it is executive director 8080 at gmail.com. And, but on the display name, it was just the executive director's name. So it wasn't, it looked like it came from the executive director. And, and, and it looked like it was going to the employee.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of ridiculous of like, why would the executive director want me to go by iTunes and scratch them off and send them to
Yeah,
them?
that's weird.
But I've seen it happen in other locations of where other times where like somebody said, I need you to wire money to me right away, wire it into this account, and it looks very convincing. And the big question is you can have all the security systems in the world, but it always is the personal hack that is the being attacked, uh, being hacked through social hacking is by far the most successful way to hack into a company.
What do you mean by social hacking?
Well, imagine this. So if you had to build a system that would brute force guess all of their passwords
Mm-hmm.
until you finally got in, you would really have to be a serious hacker. Like you would really have to know what you were doing, and you would have to put some horsepower behind it to get it done.
Yeah.
Or you could pick up the phone and say, "Hey, this is Joe from IT, and we need to get into your system right now. It's an emergency. Can you give me your username and password?" And have the person just verbally give you the username and password, and you're in 20 seconds.
Exactly.
And you used the person's, they want to help. They hey, can you help me with this? The person says, and they want to help you with it, or they scare you into to doing that. And that is how a lot of the phishing exploits work, is that they feed on humans' vulnerability to give up information.
Mm.
And so you're always, when you talk to employees, you want to have the conversation with them of any email that comes in. Like if you don't expect an email coming in with an attachment, don't go open the attachment. Ask me, pick up the phone or send a text message saying, "Hey, did you send me an email with an attachment?" If the answer is yes, then it's a legitimate attachment. If the answer is like, "No, I didn't send anything," you immediately know that the system has been compromised, or something is happening.
Exactly.
In this instance here, they didn't have to hack the systems. All they did was they used the display name. So they made up a fictitious Gmail account. They used real people's names and put the display name as the executive director's display name. They sent
Awesome.
it to a real person in the company, and asked them to they were going to have the iTunes cards, and they were going to send the codes on the back of it. And this hacker, I don't know, loves iTunes, wanted to get the new Taylor Swift album or something, and and wanted the $100 iTunes cards,
Okay.
and they were going to get some music or apps or whatever they were going to do with it.
I mean, yeah, this is on a smaller level, but this could go on a bigger level.
Right. And the things to, I mean, as any kind of internet user these days, things to look out for are just obvious. Like if you have a weird feeling about it, don't respond to it. Don't uh, don't call them or do anything with that. Just go contact the person that it says it came from first and say, "Hey, did you send this to me or not?" Trust your gut. I mean, I think part of this is like, if something feels weird, it's probably weird.
Exactly.
Anytime you see an email with misspellings in it, especially if you think it's like a very educated person and they wouldn't misspell something like this, like that's a good telltale sign of it's some sort of phishing email. The
Exactly.
misspellings are quite frequently the giveaway of what it is. The other thing to look at is like, go look at the address that the email really came from, because there's a display name, and then if you go look at the address, if you usually right click on the name, it will
Hmm.
tell you the email address that it came
Exactly.
from. And that's a clear, like if it came from some weird email address but it has that display name in, it's a phishing email.
Wow. So that's one of the biggest, I think, tips is check the email. Who is this email, basically? Just don't
Yeah,
believe that just because there's a name doesn't mean it's the same exact email you're communicating with all the time.
exactly. And it doesn't even mean their systems is hacked. So anybody can do this. Like anybody can go make an email account and put the display name as anything you want. There's nothing that's going to stop that from happening. Um, like anybody, I could go make an email from my email address, but put in the display name Steve Jobs, and people would be like, "Oh my God, Steve Jobs is still alive, and he's emailing me something."
Uh,
It's
wow.
probably phishing.
Exactly. Exactly. Is there any like other tips for people to to not receive these emails or to block these scammers?
There's some the
Tools,
best
softwares?
the best tools out today are a DNS filtering that you have your system go through a DNS. Also having your email systems set up properly with all
What
the
is the first one you said? How do you say that?
DNS filtering.
Filtering. Is that
So
software or is that a site
it's a service.
service?
There's a number of services out there, and essentially, instead of using your own server as a DNS or your internet provider, you go to you set up your DNS servers, which in turn look up like what is google.com, and it translates it into the IP address.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
And in that, when they give it to you, if a lot of times in emails will have it'll say click here to it'll say click here to put in your username and password. And what they want to do is they'll have a URL that's very similar. It'll be like it'll be fox-news.eu or something, and you'll think, oh, this is coming from Fox News
And it's not coming from there.
and it's not really coming from there. They've gone out and gotten a domain that is a spoof domain, has a very close name to it, but is not the right person.
Exactly.
And what they want you to do is go there, and it'll ask you like, oh, well, what's your name? What's your username and what's your password? And then they want you to enter it because that's them capturing that username, your username and password.
Exactly.
And they've tricked you right there.
And using that service, is it a monthly subscription or do I have to?
It's a subscription. It's usually on a monthly basis. And what happens is that when you click on that link, they have it in their database that this is a malicious site, and will pop up on your screen saying, "Hey, we saw that you tried to visit this URL. In our database, we have it listed as a malicious domain name."
Okay, so I think we can add that link for that tool for people that are looking for that. I'll put that into the description later on. Any other tools that are or subscription based? I don't know, that could protect.
Yeah, the other one is having a good firewall that has content filtering on it.
Okay.
And if you have a good firewall in your office and on your mail system, when that email comes in, it will also look to see what is the content of that email.
And just for the audiences, like, what exactly is a firewall?
A firewall is when you have an internet connection, it shares it with everybody in the office. And it also is the gatekeeper to all the traffic that is coming and going from your office.
Gotcha. And basically, when you have a firewall, it blocks it. Like, there's a bodyguard.
It blocks it. It is. It's a bodyguard and says, like, nope, sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm going to block you from seeing the site.
Exactly. Can you hear me, Peter?
Yeah, so those are some of the other ones. And again, like, this is kind of to talk about, you can have art on the internet.
Peter, can you hear me?
As just an internet user of, yes.
Okay, just because the connection is breaking up a little bit.
Okay, tell me where to start off from.
Yeah, that's fine. I think now it's fine. Yeah, it was just like a couple seconds there after you talked about the firewall and the bodyguard got disrupted. So, you were saying?
So, yeah, so we were just saying, to be smart when you're browsing the internet, when you're using email, you always want to be suspicious of anything that comes in. If you're not expecting it to come in and it has a link in it, or it has an attachment in it, be very careful what that is.
Exactly.
A bank will never send you a link to click on to change your password. A bank will never ask you for your social security to email you your social security. A phone call, like, obviously, like, Microsoft will never call you and tell you that there's a virus on your computer. Always the easiest thing is, if they initiate it, be suspicious.
Exactly.
And
It's like, why? Well, like, why should I give it to you right now? Is there
exactly.
another way to give you, my access or something like that?
And to validate that, you pick up the phone and you initiate the call to them. If it's Bank of America saying, hey, you got to log in and change your password or give me your social security, say, okay, I'm going to hang that up. And then you pick up the phone and call Bank of America and say, hey, were you trying to get a hold of me? And most likely they'll say that was some sort of fraud
Exactly.
attempt.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's a really good grasp of how to spot phishing emails. The end of it is like, don't reply to these emails. I think that was really helpful. I think if there's more tools, I think we can always add them to the description where people can go to the link and go check these sites on to basically have a firewall and have a more protective, service. So then these things don't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything else that is this like the end of the topic?
That's the end of the topic.
Okay, I think so too. Well, what do you want to tell your audience?
Yeah, well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and put any comments down below and we'll answer them.
Exactly. Put your questions down so we can come up with other content, please. And it's just going to help us build content. And every single Friday, there's a video that drops on to Peter Jobs' channel. And just be tuned, subscribe. And this will definitely help in the world of ecosystem of DevOps, IT, any other topics that will help them in.
Thanks, Hassan.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Peter Jobs, and we'll see all of you very soon. Awesome. Thank you, Peter.
Cool.